All right, guys. I want to say hello to everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar. Hopefully, we're going to be improving your lives today by giving you some insight into how to use Moosend's super powerful marketing automations, and that will hopefully optimize your business. So, before we get started, can we make sure that everything is working properly on the tech side of things? So I know you can hear me. Please click on the orange arrow just in the upper right hand corner of your screen so you can expand your chat window. Next, if you can please go ahead and type in what context you're most interested in using marketing automations for. For example, do you have an e-commerce store, or do you want to generate more money from your customers? Maybe you have a SaaS platform and you want to send specific tutorials based on your users' personal interests. Just go ahead and type in whatever kind of website you have and how you're interested in applying marketing automations to you. So I'll try and cover that during the webinar. Excuse me while I just minimize this a little bit. I want to see some of your questions and comments here. Okay. Yes, I have one from Stella. That's great. Okay. All right. It looks like the chat is indeed working. I'm starting to see some more questions. I'm loving these comments. All right. We've got a lot of e-commerce websites with us. Someone says they want to win back revenue from customers who didn't complete a purchase. That's awesome. That would be an abandoned cart workflow. Cool. We'll definitely cover that. What else? Car accessories. Fantastic. All right, nice. Someone has an e-supermarket as well. They want to use automations for their frequent shopper program. Very cool. What else do we have? Oh, someone says they want to use automations to segment their customers by their actions. That's fantastic. Those are all really, really important things that you can do with automations, and I'll do my best to cover as much as possible during the next 60 minutes we have together. All right, and to get us started, because watching a video is also, more fun than watching me talk, I'm going to go and show you a quick clip that we have here to give you a few real-life examples about what automations can do. So sit back and relax.
Introducing Moosend Automations. Let's meet Joe, a gadget lover who is looking for his new iPad. Joe found a great deal on Acme.com, which he adds to his cart. But he gets distracted and forgets about it. With traditional marketing tools, the marketer needs help from IT or a number of complex online and offline tools in order to keep track and re-engage with Joe. Thanks to Moosend Automations, Tom, marketing manager for Acme.com, has already planned ahead. Tom has installed website tracking from Moosend into Acme.com to track visitor behavior. With Moosend Automations, Tom set up automated notifications for visitors who initiated but did not complete the checkout. He selects the automation type and sets up his workflow triggers. Moosend will monitor all subscribers for the trigger selected, and every time a potential customer abandoned, Moosend will send him a reminder message to complete the transaction. After a short while, Joe receives a nice reminder and returns back to Acme.com, buys his new iPad, and he and his cat can watch movies all day long. Tom gets back to his colleagues and buys the first round of drinks.
Tom, what a guy, buying the first round of beers for his coworkers. We all need a little bit more Tom in our life. All right, so let's go on and get started. We actually have an outstanding number of people here, so I'm glad that all of you can make it. By the way, I do want to mention, if you do have any questions moving forward, because we have a lot to cover, please do type them in the same chat box where you typed what you plan on using marketing automations for, and I'll be sure to email you directly with the answers to anything you'd like to know afterwards. Also, we have a very important note. I really do suggest that you stay all the way through until the end of the webinar, because we're actually going to be giving away some really useful prizes for all of the people who stay until the very end. So these prizes, to give you a little teaser, are actually going to help you get even more out of your marketing automation. So they're definitely worthwhile. Also, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the rest of those prizes and in a little bit. So first off, I'd like to properly introduce myself. My name is Daniel, and I'm the Solutions Manager here at Moosend. Some of you do already know me, and some of you do not. But don't worry, for those of you who do not know me, I actually got my mother to write up a little testimonial. So let's see what she says about me. Oh, thanks, Mom. All right, well, now that we're all acquainted, let's jump right in. I want to tell you a little bit about why automations are awesome. So, as I mentioned, for today's webinar, it's all about making your day-to-day work life easier and better. You're going to be automating those really boring and monotonous, but still really necessary tasks and communications that you're dealing with every day. So basically, you're going to learn how to put your communications and tasks on autopilot. And that's going to be all based on your customers' behavior and actions, both in your emails as well as your website. This is going to better shape your customer's experience, which is going to equal more engagement, which then in turn equals more money for you. So let's take a quick look at why automations are awesome. First one, quite obvious, they do your work for you. After that, it's really key that you understand that you're going to be communicating for the first time ever what you should say, when you should say it, and to whom you need to say it to. This is really, really critical in all marketing. Also, what's so cool about automations is they apply now not just to your email subscribers, but also your website visitors. So that's literally everyone who's dealing with your brand. The very cool thing is that you're going to learn more about your customers. And when you learn more about your customers, you're going to be able to engage with them more efficiently. And again, of course, that translates into more money. Honestly, I think that, you know, not only are you going to save time, but you've got marketing automations, which are really cool, helping you learn about your customers. So what we really do forget is we forget to humanize our web traffic, right? When we're looking at those Google Analytics reports. But analytics are people, and I just said that right now, so you can quote me on that. Basically, it's really important to know that a number in analytics is not just a number. It's actually Martha from Wisconsin, and she has 3 kids and a pet turtle named Speedy. The point is that when you learn more about a person, you can tailor fit their experience. And you're going to actually be able to be more effective in getting engaged and active customers who are going to love your brand, purchase your products, and keep coming back for more. So today I want to talk about what you're going to learn. 3 very important things with regards to automations. It's what you're here for. The first one is how to set up automations today. I'm not going to show you something that you're going to set up next week. Literally, you can get this going today. The next one is how easy it is to actually create a workflow from scratch. And then the third one is, because we know that actually many of you have similar automation needs. A lot of people want to set up an abandoned cart, for example. We had that e-commerce question from before. People want to set up purchase reminders or even create a loyalty program. We actually created ready-made workflows that are called recipes. So basically, I'm going to show you how to use one of our workflow recipes, grab one, tweak it to your specific needs, and instantly you're going to have your own automation so you can get this going literally today. Now, I mentioned about those prizes. Let's get into it. Everyone likes a good prize. Awesome prize number 1. We're actually going to, if you stick around until the end of the webinar, get everyone exclusive early access to an ultimate automations guidebook that we created just for you guys. So we're going to learn a lot today, but it's really the tip of the iceberg when it comes down to marketing automations. This early access to the Moosend's Ultimate Guide is basically, it's going to be your Bible moving forward. It covers everything that you need to know to start kicking butt, getting a jump start on the competitors, and you're going to be doing it before anyone else. But wait, there's more. So, awesome prize number 2, and this is the grand prize. One lucky winner who stays all the way until the end is going to receive one-on-one marketing automation setup with one of the Moosend co-founders. So this Moosend co-founder is actually going to do a full analysis of your current automations, if you have any in place. He's going to advise you on what you can do better, really optimize that. And here's the best part. We're actually going to go in and set up the marketing automations for you. So actually, I've got the co-founder or conversion guru next to me right here. Pano, can I safely say that we're going to be pimping their website today?
Of course not.
No. All right, we're going to be automating your website then. It's still a pretty sweet grand prize. Okay, so let's hop right into it. I'm going to go into my handy dandy Moosend account. Hopefully you've got one. If you haven't, you can sign up for free, you register, and you're going to get access to all of our features and functionalities, including all of the stuff that we're talking about today. So first thing, we're going to want to go down to the account and then set up a tracked website. Now, we don't have any in here yet, so we're going to want to create a new website. And let's just go in and be very creative and say we're going to set up moosend.com. Sounds like a good name. And click Next. Now, a quick note, if you're using WooCommerce, we have an awesome integration, which you can see right here. Basically, any day now, we're going to have also ZenCart, as well as Shopify, PrestaShop, Magento. We're going to be constantly adding new integrations all of the time. So when we have those up, you hit that button, that's pretty much it for the installation. You're done tracking. But if you don't have any of those and you want to do a setup, it's still super duper easy. Basically, all you're going to want to do is go in, grab a bit of code from each type of the tracking function that you want to monitor, and then copy and paste it onto your website. If you don't know how, like me, ask your developer. It takes, honestly, actually a matter of minutes. So you can really actually start doing this today and tracking all that sweet, sweet data. So let's actually take a look at the different configuration examples. We've got 5 categories here of tracking that we can implement. Basically, the first one is identify visitors. This is an absolute must. If you don't have this, you cannot track. Basically, in order to use any of the automations, you're going to have to copy and paste this, because essentially it links a user's identifying details like his email address, name, actions, page views, links clicked, etc., with all of those different actions. So you've got to know who it is and what they're doing. So this one is an absolute must. The second one is track page view events. Page views are super important as well, because it basically tells you what your visitors are actually looking at on your site. So if you know this, you know what they've seen, and you know what information they actually have already consumed about your products. Remember, you have to kind of approach all of this like a little internet detective, right? Every bit of data that you collect is a clue about who your customer is, what they're interested in, and how and when you should approach them to keep coming back for more. Let's check out the third one. We've got track item added to cart. So this is exactly what it sounds like. For e-commerce, it's super valuable to know when someone has added an item to their cart, because it really indicates a strong interest in purchasing that item. If they don't wind up purchasing it, you know exactly what item it is you need to hit them with when you're doing your retargeting ads. After that, we've got track ordered completed events. So these are basically successful purchases, right? This is great because you can use this one to see who frequently purchases from you. You may even decide to assign a customer value based on the number of successful purchases. Maybe you're going to create a loyalty program to reward all of those people who go and patronize your e-shop all the time. Last but not least, we've got track product view events. Now, product views, this is actually a step in the user journey before they're adding their product to the cart. So it's simply when a visitor is viewing a particular product, but does not necessarily add it to the cart. This is great for retargeting ads with that particular product, but because it's less of a strong signal, right, of intent by the visitor than adding it actually to the cart, it should also help you to deduce that after the user saw this particular product, he might not have been convinced enough to add it to their cart. So on the retargeting emails, what are you going to do? You're not just going to display that particular product that they viewed but didn't add to cart, but since they weren't convinced enough, you're going to be smart and also send some alternative product suggestions as well. Now, I know I told you that was the last, but I've got a bonus one for you. It's track custom events. Custom events actually are the coolest ones in my opinion. So why I think they're so cool is because track custom events basically gives you full flexibility to define the event that is most important for you. If it's watching a video, whether it's when a website visitor clicks on a certain button, or maybe added the most expensive item in your shopping cart, you know, whatever it is, you can define it and you can track it. Great. So as I said, it's a simple copy and paste. Once you've done that, you know, you're ready to go, you're ready to start tracking. Now, let's get into creating our automations. We're going to want to go over here onto the automations, and we're clicking the Try New Automations button. We've got nothing available at the moment, fresh account. These, by the way, are the pre-made recipe workflows that I mentioned earlier. We've got a ton of them in here, as you can see. We're going to be adding even more in the future. So we are going to get back to those in just a minute, but right now I want to show you how easy it is to create a workflow from scratch, right? So we're going to click over on this Create a Custom Automation. Now, as you can see, whenever you're creating a new workflow, you can go ahead and edit over here the name and description of the workflow. So you'll always know what it is. Even before you open it, you've got it right there. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a new name for this automation. Let's call it Medication Refill Reminder. Mysterious, right? Well, I'm going to tell you what that's all about in a little bit. We won't bother right now with the description, but if you do want to enter it, it's right here. Right. So what I want to do is basically, because I think it's really easier to understand the potential of automations based on real life practical examples, I'm first going to give you a brief overview of all the various components in the marketing automations, and then I'm going to give you a real life business example. As we go, we're actually going to create a workflow for that specific example. Sound good? I can't hear you, but okay. I'm going to take that as a yes. All right, so let's do our brief overview right now so you can get a little bit of a lay of the land. When you're creating your own workflow from scratch, you're going to notice that there are actually 3 macro categories. The first one, as you see over here, it always starts you out with a trigger. You should think of triggers as the witch. Now, not witch like an Blair Witch Project, but which as in you are defining which event has to occur in order to start the automation, a trigger, right? So we're going to click on this trigger button, and you can see all of the triggers by actually checking out any of these little radius buttons down here at the bottom. Or if you're like me, you go to the drop-down list and you can sort them actually by category. So let's take a look at all of the different categories. We'll start with email engagement. So with email engagement triggers are basically recipient actions based on your email campaigns. So for example, it could be when someone opens or clicks on a link in a certain newsletter that you sent. It's important really to remember that you have an option here to trigger this automation only once or for every open or click that they do with those emails. The second one we'll look at is list engagement. Now, list engagement are basically triggers that have to do with when someone subscribes or unsubscribes from either a specific list or any list. If you choose any list, then basically you're going to have the option to trigger the automation only once, or every time that person subscribes or unsubscribes from that list. So, great, let's move on to profile management. This one's really cool. This is when a value changes in a custom field. So you've created the custom fields in the past. Basically, it can be anything that you want to track. It can be a person's age, their location, whether they're a customer or not, really up to you. So anytime these change, then you can actually select that as a condition. Basically, what I'm going to do is actually show you a little bit a deep dive in here. And we're going to select this when a custom value is changed to a specific value, this one here. And basically, you see we have 3 fields to fill out. It asks us if we want to trigger the automation only once or every time. So let's go select one of these. It asks us what the custom field name is that we want to change. Let's put it as customer status. And then basically at the end, it's going to say, define the custom field value. And we can say is a customer, right? And then we would press save right there. Okay. So let's go back to the trigger list and we'll check out the next one here, which is scheduling. So in scheduling is great if you offer a discount. Basically, if you're offering someone, a special bonus on their birthday, or maybe you're organizing a big event and you want to remind people to register by a specific date, scheduling is perfect for that. We'll go back and we'll check out the last one here, website engagement. Super, super cool. So with website engagement, my favorite definitely, because basically they're based on all of the different actions that a visitor can possibly make on your website. So I'm going to take you through each one. We've got when someone browses any page. So if you want to track someone browsing any page on your website or a specific page on your website, say you have a loyalty program and now they're interested in your loyalty program. When someone purchases any product, you just care that they're a customer, right? Or when someone purchases a specific product. So that could be, your most expensive product that you have. We've got when someone adds any product to their cart, okay, signal to purchase, or when someone adds, again, that most expensive or least expensive, whatever you want, best-selling product to their cart. Awesome. Now, as promised, let's start with a real-life example so we can actually contextualize all of this stuff. So, let's say that you're an online e-pharmacy, right? And you know that a certain medication that you sell runs out after 30 days. So anyone who gets that medication, you're going to want to remind that customer to come back and purchase a refill 25 days after they've purchased the first time, right? So you give them a little leeway and they can purchase again and not run out. So what we're going to do is go back to the first page here. And we're going to select when someone purchases a specific product. All right, now because we never want that person to run out, we're not going to trigger that only for the first time they purchase. We're going to trigger it for every time they purchase that medication. We always want to give them that reminder, right? We're going to go ahead and select the website that we entered from before when we started the tracking, right? Because they're shopping on moosend.com. And we're going to go ahead and enter in the product code that you have for that specific medication. I'm just going to throw in ABC medication as the product code. Right. So we go ahead and save that. And we wait a little bit. Great. Okay. So after that, our trigger is ready. Next, we actually are going on to the second macro category. Those are the conditional and control steps. I want you to think of the conditional and control steps as actually defining the when, the why, or the to whom you're going to apply all of these automations. So let's step away from the real life example of the e-pharmacy for a little bit, and we're just going to take a look at the three main categories for conditional control steps. All right, here are the conditional control steps, and starting from right to left, you know, just to switch things up a little bit, we're going to take a look at wait a specific time interval. When you click that, you can see that you can set a time to wait. That can be in minutes, hours, days, or months. And then you can later on trigger an action. The second type is filter contacts. Okay, filtering contacts is really, really important because you're essentially deciding on the scope or the who question of who you want to apply this automation to. So you can apply it to either the list that the websiter is in or another specific list or to all lists. So you can see that here, all mailing lists, that specific person, you know, any of these lists that we want. Now, when we go down and actually add conditions, it's very, very interesting because what we can do is you're going to see in the workflow that basically we're going to split the workflow into two different sets of people, two segments, right? So let's go in and, you know, you've got a lot of different things. We can put that purchase product, I think we have in here somewhere. Purchased a product is true, right? And then we're going to go ahead and add another condition. Let's say that date added is today's date, right? Now we're going to save that. Now look what happens. You've got people that are yeses to that and people that are no's. Now at this point, when you have that split, you can take an action based on either segment. So these filters are very, very important. They're included in a lot of the classic automations that you're probably going to want to use. So for example, they've got them in you know, the cart abandonment workflow. You have to filter the users that actually did purchase and those users that did not purchase. If you're doing an onboarding series workflow, you've got to basically get someone familiarized with your SaaS platform, for example. You have to add a filter and differentiate between recipients who have opened the first email and those who have not, because you're going to want to take different actions based on those, right? All right, so let's go back and we're going to click here. And we are going to want to click on the action list. All right, the third type of conditional controls is a really, really cool one. I don't think anyone has this, to be honest. I think we're literally the only ones. Now you can actually filter by the weather conditions in your recipient's location. How cool is that? So if you go in, you can see conditions in the contact's location. It could be foggy, rainy, snowy, clear skies, clouds, extreme conditions, whatever you want. It's super, super cool. So I mean, like, imagine if you're a travel company, for example. How cool is it that now you can send an email campaign to your subscribers that says something like, yuck, it's raining outside. Why not go on a fun trip, get a bit of sun, get a tan, here are some great deals on airfare. Again, with this one, you really have to, you know, just be creative, understand how you're going to use weather in order to kind of send the right message to your recipients at the right time. But it's very, very cool stuff. All right, so now, without further ado, let's go back to our real life online pharmacy example and say that because the refill, again, runs out in 30 days, we want to remind the customer 25 days from the time of purchase to get the refill so they don't run out. So what we're going to do is go back to the wait a specific time interval, and we're going to put in 25, not minutes, not hours, but days, and just hit save right there. Great. So our control condition is ready, and we're ready to move on to the third and final macro category. Those are actions. So with actions, actions are really the what's. They define what you will do at the end of an automation. Most often, you're probably going to want to send an email campaign with specific content that's tailored to the user. But actually, you may have many more, action possibilities that you want to utilize. So let's look at some of the actions over here. So we have that send email campaign that I mentioned. You might instead want to subscribe a user to a list. You might also want to unsubscribe them from a list. You can actually even trigger a separate automation if that user makes it all the way down to that workflow, right? We've got more. Very, very cool. We have the then set custom field value, and we have the increase or decrease the custom field value. So the increase, decrease custom field value can be great for loyalty. If someone purchases, you raise them up, 50 points or whatever have you. Set a custom field value can be wasn't a customer, now is a customer. These are quite cool and really up to you. So in our real life example, we wanted to really just remind the customer, however, to repurchase their medication by sending a simple email. So we're going to simply go back over to the then send email campaign. We're going to throw in a subject line here. I'm going to just put in, don't forget to purchase your medication refill. Select the sender, that's me. Content, we've got this. Have you seen our new products or medication ABC reminder, I think is good. Now this is interesting, the emails per day cap. So what is this? Basically, you have an option. It's kind of like a safety net. In case the customer does something odd or unexpected. So he could buy 2 of the same product, the medication at the same day. So you don't want to actually wind up sending him 2 reminders. So you can limit it just to that 1 reminder in case he does buy 2. Now we go ahead and press save. And honestly, that's it. So we've already created a workflow from scratch. I do want to emphasize there's one more step left. It's not active yet, but to make it active, as you see up here, we've just got to toggle this little switch in order to make it active, and now it's ready to go. Very easy, right? All right, so actually, believe it or not, setting up an automation can be even easier. It can take less time. Remember how I told you that we've got recipes for commonly used workflows? Well, let's take a look at some of those now. Basically, I want to show you a bunch of these different recipes. We don't have time, so I'm going to stick to one that someone mentioned in the comments over there, which was making more money from potentially, lost revenue from customers who abandon their cart. All right, let's take the common case. This is the classic case where your customer browses your website, adds a few things to the cart, just takes out their credit card, and is oh so close to purchasing. When all of a sudden, ding dong, the doorbell rings, and then bring, the phone rings, and then all of a sudden, the would-be customer forgot they've got to pick up their kids at school. And that sounds a little bit like our Martha from Wisconsin. It's classic Martha. Before you know it, they've abandoned their cart, they haven't purchased, and you've lost the sale. Or did you? Well, if you're smart, and my mom has told me that you are, personally, then you've put into place the abandoned cart recipe for just such an occasion. So let's take a look at how it works. So this is the recipe here. Let's take a look and make sure that we're going to get our customer back. First thing is that you'll notice that everything, including the name, just like when we were creating from scratch, is all customizable. So you can edit to whatever you want and call it, anything that you want and describe it any way you want, just like you could when we were creating from scratch. I'm going to actually show you what needs to be also completed. We are very thoughtful because you still have some things to do, even though we've created this recipe for you. Here you can see there are 4 pending tasks. So you can click on this and expand just to see all of your pending tasks. Or if you prefer to collapse it, you can collapse it here. So Let's collapse them and start working directly on the flow chart. The first thing that you'll notice on the workflow is that actually you'll also see all of the pending tasks are highlighted in this adorable, if I do say so myself, pink color. So if you just hover over this, you're going to see that this is going to require some tasks that need completing. All right, so let's say that we want to tailor this specific recipe a bit to our specific needs, and the first thing that we want to tailor really is the wait time. Okay, because let's say that you know, we want to send an email reminder faster than 45 minutes because we don't store the abandoned cart data for too long. So we want to adjust the wait time. Let's click on that. We'll go in and we'll put in 15 minutes instead. We hit save, and that's already tailored to us. Secondly, we're going to want to go into that, you know, to define really the condition control, or the who that receives the notification. So we're going to click here on filter contacts, and what we're going to want to do is apply this to that particular person's mailing list. We want to keep the purchased product as false, right? Someone who's abandoned the cart, and we've changed this to 15 minutes. Great. So we're going to click save here. And now we're going to go down and click on the action component right down here. So with the action component, remember, these are for people who abandoned the cart and haven't purchased in 15 minutes. Basically, let's enter a nice subject line. I'm just going to type in something easy. Wait, you forgot to complete your purchase. @ Just kidding, exclamation point. Sender will be me, and we're going to take content from the campaign. Have you seen our new products? And so now we've got the email per day cap again. For this one, if they abandon the cart once in a day, twice in a day, 3 times, we still want to remind them, right? They might be trying to purchase a new thing. So we're going to go ahead and select unlimited right there. Okay, so we're going to hit save, and boom. Just like that, you're going to increase your otherwise lost revenue from people who didn't check out. But we want to tweak this recipe a little more and go even further, right? Right. So what do we do now? Let's say we want to do something with all of those people who did actually complete their purchase. So what would be useful for us? Well, we know that these people are customers, right? So why don't we make sure that we update their status as customers to reflect that? So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and select the custom field value action, right? And that's over here. And we're going to do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to take their customer status, and we're going to write here is a customer, right? We know that they've purchased a product. And so now that's fantastic, because, you know, what did that take? 5 minutes. And that was with me explaining to you as well. So you can do this even faster. You'll get the hang of it. It's fantastic. And now basically you've made more money by capturing the lost revenue from all those people who abandoned their cart. And you've started creating an automated database of customers that did purchase, whom you can retarget later. So obviously, guys, what you can do with marketing automations is pretty much endless. And there's a lot of exploring to do. It's really good that you stuck through, because you're going to need that guide. If you haven't already registered, as I mentioned, for the Moosend account, go ahead and do it now. You can do it from www.moosend.com. It's free, there's no credit card required, and you're going to get access to all of our features, just like all the marketing automations that we went over. And so you can start creating your automations today. Because we're such good guys and gals at Moosend, we've also gone ahead and given you 2,000 email credits for free in your account. So you can actually not only create your automations, but start testing them out on real customers right now. Wonderful, guys. That pretty much wraps up the webinar. Basically, at this point, I would like to invite all of you who have stuck around to start entering questions. I'll get back to you and email those questions to you. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. We'll see how many we get. But right now, for those of you who are noting down, we are noting down basically who stuck around and who didn't. So once we compile the naughty and nice lists, we're actually going to send everyone who stayed till the end your exclusive early access prize, #1, Moosend's Ultimate Guide to Automations. So well done for sticking it out. I really hope you learned something today. I hope you're really excited about using automations for your own business. And of course, we're going to be checking that naughty and nice list also to randomly select our grand prize winner for the mother of all prizes, where we're going to run a one-on-one diagnostic of your marketing goals, help you identify new and optimized ways to boost revenue, and finally go in and actually create all of those automations tailored exclusively for you. So the grand prize winner announcement is actually going to happen early next week, and you're all going to receive an email about that. Thank you for joining. Please do go ahead, type in those questions now, and if you haven't already done so, or you can send them directly to me. My email address is daniel@moosend.com. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and enjoy the rest of your day.